Good evening. Welcome to the July 9th Committee of Adjustment meeting in person and by electronic participation at the municipal office, 7404 Wellington Road 34. Tonight we have one meeting, it being the Committee of Adjustment, and there'll be one minor variance for consideration of the Committee of Adjustment. Please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in a meeting by electronic means, or consenting to have your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. So we'll move into the roll call. Paul Sedra. Present. Amanda Knight.
Present.
Chris Picard.
Present.
And I, Councilor Johnson Poulos, I'm present as well. Let's have a moment of reflection. Thank you. Richmond, would you lead the next item up? Confirmation agenda.
Yeah. The committee approves the July 9th, 2024 agenda as circulated.
Dale Mover. Amanda, second. Chris, all in favor? Thank you. All right, now we move into the approval of the June the 11th, 2024 Committee of Adjustment minutes. May I have a mover? Paul, seconder. Chris, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, so let's move into the disclosure of pecuniary interest. Lynn, do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest? And
Mr. Chair.
does anyone have a disclosure of pecuniary interest? No. Great, thank you. All right, so let's move into the application for minor grants or permission under section 45 of the Planning Act to be heard by the committee. It's a minor grants application D13 AUG Augur Jerry 164 Hume Road, requesting relief from new comprehensive zoning bylaw as amended from section 11.4 to permit a reduced lot frontage from separate parcel to be 60 meters instead of 25 as required. Table 11.3 of the zoning bylaw. So the purpose of this hearing is to inform and provide the public the opportunity to ask questions or express views with respect to the minor grants application before us. Township requests that you please notify the secretary of the committee by email at lbanks@pushins.ca if you wish to be on record and would like to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding the specific application. So I'll just go around the table, introduce the staff here. Lynn Banks is the secretary treasurer. To her right is Laura Emery, our coordinator, and extreme right is our township planner, Mikhail Sapiwala. So the format of here is as follows. We heard the application, and staff will display the relevant information at appropriate time. Staff will present information report specifically outlining the purpose application, summarizing compliance with township notification and submission requirements, and outlining staff comments. Then we'll ask the applicant to come forward to present the purpose and details of the application and any further relevant information. Following this, the public can obtain and ask questions and express their views on a proposal. You have a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. Following this, members of the committee can obtain clarification and ask questions as well. If a member wishes to add a condition, I'll ask for a vote on condition. The committee will then deliberate the application with any approved conditions and render a decision, and the decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, so we'll start into staff comments. Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff, agency, public comments, and recommendations?
Notification of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act, and notice requirements for the application have been met. The following comments were received. Township's fire department asked that the owners please ensure the access driveway to the future structure can accommodate emergency vehicles, ensuring that items such as tree limbs are trimmed back sufficiently to a height of 5 meters above the driveway surface is essential to allow a quick response. Township's bylaw, public works, and building departments had no comments. The GRCA advised that they do not object to the minor variance application. A portion of the retained and severed parcel is regulated by the GRCA, and any future development and activity within that regulated area will require the prior written approval in the form of permit pursuant to Ontario Reg 41-24. GRCA staff previously reviewed the scope EIS submitted as part of consent application B 2823 and found it acceptable. Minor variance proposed is consistent with the consent, and as such, GRCA have no additional comments to provide. Source Water has advised that since the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, the application can be screened out, does not require section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. They further noted that they may provide comments on any future applications subject to this property, given the vulnerable areas. And the County of Wellington planning staff said that they do not have any concerns with the proposed minor variance application, provided that any concerns by the GRCA are addressed.
So, would, Laura, please have the owner applicant, Joanna Palmas, present their application. We'll stand you people in the audience, please come forward and present the application. Please state your name and just for the record.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Hugh Handy, and I'm with GSP Group, a land use planning firm at 72 Victoria Street South in Kitchener.
And the gentleman to your,
My name is Jonathan Minnis. I'm a lawyer at Gowling WLG in the Kitchener office, which is 345 King Street in Kitchener.
thank you. Go ahead. Oh, you got it on board? Okay, great, super.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Chair Sapoulos, members of the committee, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Hugh Handy, and I'm Vice President and Land Use Planner with GSP Group. I'm also here this evening with the owners of the property and our client, Sue and Jerry Auger, who are the owners of 164 and with Mr. Minnis. We propose to have a joint delegation followed by questions, if that's suitable, Mr. Chair. this
Well, when
evening.
in order as you present your information, then we ask the public if they have any questions and then we'll
Absolutely.
proceed from there.
Okay, thank you. The minor variance before you this evening relates to a consent application as indicated B 28 of 23 that was approved by the Ontario Land Tribunal on May 15th of this year, 2024, with conditions. One of those conditions relates to the recognition of a reduced lot frontage, condition 7, from 25 to 16 meters. The staff report in front of you this evening is supportive, as well as the comments that have been indicated by Ms. Banks this evening from the county, other township staff, and the GRCA. We have also reviewed the letter from Mr. and Mrs. Strachan dated July 8th, Monday. We are also in receipt of additional letters today from the GRCA, Township Public Works, and your bylaw officer in response to the Strachan letter. I would like to make a few points in relation to this relates to the consent application and ultimately the variance that's before you this evening. The frontage could have been made wider to comply with the zoning bylaw, but after discussion with the owners, your Township Public Works Department, and the county, the decision was made to reduce the lot frontage and not flare the severed lot at the front to meet the bylaw requirements. If we had gone in on an angle, it would have required a turn shortly after the entrance, creating an even more odd-shaped lot. The removal of trees and the addition of a culvert over the existing drainage course, which is noted on right at the front of the sketch, limit of the edge of the drainage channel on the sketches before you on the screen. The 16 meters or roughly 52 feet, 6 inches will provide the necessary room for the driveway, which has been given approval by the township, which again is condition 6 on the OLT decision, and will, in our opinion, not impact on the drain or the drainage. Reducing the lot Frontage allows for a straight driveway, which is preferred and causes less disruption to the land, and trees, and driveway entrance will further open up in an open area past the frontage. With all that said, subject to further comments from Mr. Menace and answering any questions of the committee, we would respectfully request your support of the minor variance application this evening.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee, staff. I'm here as legal counsel to Jerry and Sue Auger. They're the owners of the subject property, and they're seeking a minor variance. I won't go into the details of that. Mr. Handy's already done that, but I will note that it's really a single variance for reduced frontage is the only item that we're looking at tonight. I want to first thank staff for their efforts to putting this together and their planning report and review, including comments from other commenting agencies. As you've heard tonight, the township planner and GSP both agree in the recommendation that this application ought to be approved. They've found that it meets the fourfold test of the Planning Act. And this is uncontested planning evidence. There's no other evidence contrary to this position that's before you. As you likely know and has been discussed, this minor variance in itself is essentially a condition of the provisional consent that was granted by the Ontario Land Tribunal in May of this year. And that order was also based on uncontested planning evidence and the conditions there too as well. First off, I encourage you, like Mr. Handy, to approve this variance tonight. I do want to make a few comments just in regards to the written submissions filed by Carl and Bridget Strachan, and I hope I've got their names right. Regarding the drainage channel that resides near the subject property, that drainage channel pre-exists the application. It's not related to this application, either the consent or the minor variance. We received as part of that process written submissions from the Strachans regarding this issue, both when it was before the initial application for consent and through a participant statement at the Ontario Land Tribunal. In both those instances, planning staff and the tribunal declined to propose any kind of condition of approval through the consent process, and it was finalized without any such condition. And again, based on uncontested planning evidence and expert evidence. I think the reason for this is that the drain really relates to civil rights, property rights. That's really the subject matter of the court. And if maybe I could direct you to some of the written submissions from the GRCA and the Michael Fowler, Director of Public Works, Parks and Facilities, that was received today. I'm sure you've already had that received. Both of those pieces of correspondence indicate their view that it's a civil matter and outside of the scope of this matter. Further to this, the consent had a set of conditions. If there was a place to have conditions, it really would have been the consent. This is not something tied to a frontage issue and really the subject matter of minor variance, and really would be essentially potentially running contrary to what's already been decided by the Ontario Land Tribunal. Subject to any questions, those are my submissions. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
Mr. Chair, we did not receive any requests.
Okay, are there any attendees in the audience who would like to speak? I know you have prepared a letter. We have it on file. We'll read it out. If you want to come and speak to it, you're welcome right now. If you do, please.
Nope, all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, Lynn, would you please read out the written comments?
Certainly. To whom it may concern, we would like to put in a formal objection with regards to land severance file number D13 AUG submitted by Susan and Jerry Auger residing at 164 Hume Road, Slums, Ontario, in OB2JO, part of Lot 10, Concession 10. Our concern is that of the proximity of the drainage channel that runs underneath the road from 164 Hume Road to 169 Hume Road. The amount of runoff from Starkey Hill that travels this channel in the spring is extensive. Oftentimes it will pass plenty of debris through the channel and then block the grate in the township-owned section of the ditch in front of 169 Hume Road, causing it to overflow and cause severe flooding of our front yard. We take great care in ensuring that we maintain and clear the grate in order to protect our weeping bed and septic. A number of years ago, we've inquired about rerouting the water to the side of our property to avoid this from happening, but we're told because of the water conservation, we're not allowed to alter the natural course of the water. Placing a driveway almost on top of this drainage channel will almost certainly alter the natural course of the water. The removal of trees that would normally absorb water from this channel to allow for a driveway will definitely allow for more water to flow under the road and create more flooding on our property. We've also been told the property owner has built a dam in their pond to control the water flow during the wet seasons. Rather than the water flowing after periods of rain or snowmelt, which is to be expected, we now get a flooding of water anytime that the dam breaks or is open, which is not consistent with related weather events. When this happens, we will have more water rush through our property than it naturally would after a period of rain. We have dealt with this for 24 years that we have lived here, and we take a fair share of water on our property, but it is not fair for us to take more water on from other properties just for someone else's gain. If we are not able to alter the natural course of the water to put an end to the constant flooding of the weeping bed and septic on an existing property, then the natural course of water should not be altered for the creation of a new property, especially when this alteration would mean even more water being passed on to the neighbors who already receive enough water from Starkey Hill. I've attached photo evidence of the flooding that has taken place over the years. I've also taken videos of the water at different times that I'm happy to provide you with, should you be interested. Please contact me with any questions you might have regarding the matter at hand. Sincerely, Carl and Bridget Strachan, 169 Hume Road, Sunshine, Ontario.
All right, so, Laura, are there any attendees in the audience who would like to speak?
Through Mr. Chair, there are none.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's turn it over to the members of the committee. So we'll start with you, Paul. Do you have any questions of the applicants?
No question. Thank you.
Okay, Amanda?
I don't have any questions. Maybe more so just a comment. I understand, what we're looking at as a committee is the reduction of frontage. And as per staff's recommendation, does meet the 4 test. It's hard not to sympathize with the adjacent property owner, and although it's not something that, we as a committee can necessarily deal with, I'm just wondering, maybe this is outside of the scope of this. Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I am overstepping, let me know, but is there any opportunity for property owners to work together here to try to mitigate the effects of this as much as possible, or understanding that it is a simple matter?
I can comment at a high level. So typically with redevelopment applications, there's a general obligation to maintain drainage patterns. So what's there ahead of the development must be continued. And so that's the principle you're looking towards. And so we don't have any expert evidence in front of us that says there's going to be an issue with drainage that changes the drainage pattern in front of us. But that's the standard. And so the aim would be to make sure that the water infiltrates on the site and it continues to be the same drainage patterns that you'd have existing. So I think that's the goal already.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
I think probably on Amanda's point. So the contention is that whether it was a 25-meter frontage or a 16-meter frontage, that would have no impact on the drainage issue that the Strachan's have raised.
I think first off, there's no evidence that it would from an expert. Second off, it's outside of the bounds of the committee to deal with it because it's a civil matter. And third off, if there's going to be a condition that related to planning, it really should have been dealt with through the committee. And we had this submission made, the county.
Mhm.
It was made to the county in the first instance. It was made to the Ontario Land Tribunal in the second instance. Both of those cases, they determined that it was not necessary. And so it's kind of the third kick at it without any expert evidence.
And I'm certainly not in a position to debate the legal points, but they made it a condition that we're happy to. So back to my question, there's no evidence that the reduced frontage will, despite the Strachan's position will increase the risk and it becomes a civil matter for them to continue if need be. That's what I'm hearing.
I would say that the reduced frontage is how big the lot's going to be. If they're saying that there's a design issue about the road or something like that, that's not because of reduced frontage, that's how they're designing it. We've heard already you can build a road many different ways. And again, there's a principle that you have to maintain your drainage pattern. So there's an obligation to do that already.
Thank you.
And I guess I would add to that through you, Mr. Chair, the intent is to stay away from the drainage channel, not to be the new lot to be outside of that. So that would be next to it and generally, you can't drain onto someone else's property is which will continue even with a new driveway. The intent is to not drain onto even the retained property. It would maintain its drainage to the roadside ditch or infiltrate.
Thank you.
That's a minute to remember, this is strictly to do with the minor variance, reducing it from the prescribed bylaw to 16 meters. And as pointed out by the presenters, had they complied with the bylaw, we wouldn't be here now. So we're dealing with a very narrow scope, and if there's issues with drainage, the people who are having the issue should be dealing with the township bylaw enforcement officer to address the matter to whatever necessary means possible. Okay, so does anybody have any conditions they wish to add to the application, right, to the document? Right now, there are none. No?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that we vote on the application and taking into consideration the information presented to us, the staff report, and the judgment whether the application meets the 4 tests to be considered a minor variance. So would you please confirm your vote as follows, either approved, not approved, or deferred? So we'll start with you, Paul.
Approved.
Amanda,
Approved.
Chris,
Approved.
and I approve as well. Okay, and this will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay,
Can I read the resolution?
yes, please go ahead with the resolution.
That the minor variance decision is made by the committee be approved with no conditions.
Okay, mover. Amanda, second. Chris, all in favor? Good, thank you.
And through you, Mr. Chair, just to advise those attending, there is a sign up sheet if you're interested in being notified of this application. And just sign on your way in.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Would you want us to sign?
I'm gonna send it to you anyway,
Okay.
just through the email
Okay.
anyway, because you're in my email list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure John can
Thank you.
get it to. you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we're just bring them.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to report. Excuse me, can you take your discussion outside? Excuse me, can you take your discussion outside, please? Okay, let's move on to reports, 8.1. Committee of Adjustment 2024-003, report proposed 2025 committee adjustment meeting dates. Lynn, would you take us through it?
Sure. The purpose of this report is to set the committee of adjustment dates for the proposed 2025 committee meetings schedule. As everyone knows, the terms of reference state that the committee has to meet monthly on the second Tuesday of every month. So I've just provided the dates for the second Tuesday of every month for 2025 for review and approval by the committee.
Okay, any questions or comments? Oh, questions.
Just a thank you to staff for getting this out so early. Everybody's so busy and
We
knowing
try.
dates ahead of time, even if they're set, it's nice to have that visual. So thank you very
It
much.
was actually ready in January. I forgot about it. So, yeah.
Come on, Leonard.
I know.
Okay, great. So all the conflicts with the county and all that sort of thing, any statutory holidays, observances,
No, I did speak for you, Mr. Chair, with Deb and Jenna at the county, and they said as long as we can provide our conditions to them before, prior to the Christmas break, they don't have any concerns.
okay, so we're not infringing on any religious holidays at all either, during those dates?
Not to my knowledge, I can go back and check, but.
Yeah, just go ahead, check, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So, have a mover and a seconder. Paul moves, second by Amanda, all in favor. Great, thank you. Moving to the next item. Committee memo. Committee of Adjustment 2024-001, minor variance questionnaire. So who wants to walk through this?
That falls to me.
Sounds great.
So, members may recall, this is as a result of, a motion in 2023 to consider a questionnaire for process improvement, for the Committee of Adjustments work. And we should give credit to former member Dennis O'Connor, for his participation and support in this. Apologies for being a little later than we wanted, but need to acknowledge his contributions here. We looked at, as best we could, each of the various applications over the course of time, consulted with staff and have developed a number of questions that we would target at the applicants, primarily the applicants who have been here, to try and understand why they ended up with minor variance. In some cases, it was because they got, it was found that they were in non-compliance after the fact, propane tanks too close to property lines, and then trying to determine what we could, based on those results that we get back, what could we suggest as process improvements either for the committee or for staff or for applicants in order to reduce the number of concerns for those coming before us. So I'm happy to answer any questions about any of the questions in the draft, looking for your feedback, looking for your suggestions, either to add, delete, or change.
Okay, start with you, Paul.
Found it pretty helpful. Thanks for putting the time into this. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Amanda, I guess you were part of the committee you last started, so I assume you had a chance to go through it. Okay, does staff have any comments? Before I make my comments? No? Okay, so the only suggestion I have, instead of the word infraction, I'd like to suggest we use either non-conformance or variance, non-conformance with the bylaw type of thing.
Yeah.
Smooth it out type of thing, it's not
That's a good idea.
yeah, it's not a harsh type of thing, it's, the office didn't know, they didn't know about it, otherwise they would have been, conformed to the bylaw. So we can do that, the zoning bylaw, non-conformance was observed and kill, infraction all throughout, but non-conformance.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so the next thing is how we're going to, disseminate this, so we'll ask, Laura here.
Through Mr. Chair, I think the best thing, because it's only gonna go to a certain specific amount of people, is if I kind of take the survey that's there and put it into some sort of fillable PDF that we can then send out to everyone who's had a minor variance in the last X amount of time. And then probably if we have to have it back by December, if we could have it, if I send that out sometime this summer. Should I give myself a deadline right on the spot to send this out by? That sounds bold.
No.
That sounds too
Well,
bold.
let's put it this way, summer is a sort of taboo period, nobody's around, so.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
so
so-
I would suggest sending out in September.
Okay. Okay, and then getting the results throughout the fall and then having it back for the
Yeah,
December meeting.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Pick a suitable time frame.
If I may, I would suggest, send it in September. Chair, summer, you'll never get attention.
Yeah.
But perhaps a deadline of October 30th,
Right,
which gives us then time to consider the results collectively and prepare material for the December.
Yeah, and if you give too much time, then you're not gonna get a good response, right?
It will fall off the computer screen. I built through this, and once that happens, I never pay attention to it.
I have a question.
Just go ahead.
How far back would you like the questionnaires to be sent out for
Well,
just this year?
Well, he said right at the front, the last 2 years, so
Last 2 years, is that? Okay.
So did we okay with the last 2 years? So-
Yeah. It's good. We thought that gave a reasonable applicant pool.
Mhm. Mhm.
See what your response is, and if you're just light, then you can go back another year after that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, so, how do we want to proceed? Just, mover and a seconder? Okay,
Yeah.
You want to move it?
I can move it.
Second by. Yes, in favor? Thank you. All right, I guess this sort of ties into, your groups, Paul, did you guys put anything together?
Yeah, we haven't, because Jeff was away for a while and he was hard to track down, so my recommendation maybe is if we have somebody new coming, then I can start kind of working on it with them, kind of restart again.
Okay,
That's
so,
okay, yeah.
that sounds good, okay, so, I guess we got, September 3rd as a council meeting, I think that's when we're targeting to have the, applications reviewed by council at that time, so be ready, somebody ready for October then. And so, I don't
That's
know,
a bit, yeah, maybe I'll just, I'll spend some time myself.
Yeah.
Because I've been around now for a couple of terms too, so, okay, that's fine.
okay, fair enough. Okay, new business, anybody have any new business? No? Okay, adjournment, mover,
That the Committee of Adjustment hereby adjourns at 7:31 PM.
okay, mover, and second, well, all in favor. Great, thank you.